My name is Rishabh Aggarwal. I'm CTO at Raise Robotics.
What does Raise Robotics do?
We make autonomous robots for heavy industries. So by heavy industries, I mean like construction, manufacturing, and shipbuilding. So these robots go on real world jobs and do blue collar jobs like drilling, bracket installation, layout marking, quality control, and painting. So these are the tools that help the blue collar people to do their job more effectively and efficiently.
These are not small robots. These are not humanoid robots. Like, what kind of robots are we talking here?
So you can imagine it to be like a golf cart sized robot on wheels, like a golf cart having two robotic arms that are like giant 2 meter arms with tools in front of them, and they have suite of lidars and cameras for the perception and the surrounding awareness. And they go, you deploy it on a construction site, and you give it the drawing or the map of what it needs to do, and then it will continue to walk around and do the stops one by one.
I mean, how autonomous are we talking about here? I mean, LiDAR, robots, working on a site is not brand new, but you've got AI in your domain now. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so we start with like manual teleoperated system to get the robot the data it needs from the construction sites. Then we go to semi-autonomous where you park it at a place and it is able to do the job effectively, motion plans on its own, no teleoperation. And then you go to full autonomy where you give it work to do on multiple location points. It goes to a point, does the job, then automatically moves, scans the surroundings, sees where the obstacles are, finds a path to the next place, parks itself, does the job again, and that is what full autonomy means, which is still pretty rare in like heavy industries or even like in commercial B2B work to have like that level of autonomy.
I mean, how many robots do you have in market?
So currently we have 10 robots and like 3 to 4 robots are deployed simultaneously on multiple projects. We have one in Texas, one in SF nearby, one in Nashville, South Dakota. So we have completed 18 projects thus far, full construction, St. Jude, Oncology Center in Nashville, 13-story building, completely done by robots.
Completely done by robots. All right, let's talk through this, because are we talking about a robot that can complete multiple kinds of jobs or one job consistently and effectively?
Yeah, in this particular scope of work, we were doing one scope of work for the facade, which was layout and quality control. So we would go on the construction site and lay out on the edge of the building of where things need to be placed, and then the workers will place those accurately. So we will tell if the construction of the building is in accordance with the CAD or not. If there is a variation between the level at which the floor is, then we can relay that information to the things that get installed, so manufacturing process can accommodate the built versus CAD changes.
So that first robot is almost there as a site preparer. It comes in and says, this needs to go here, this needs to go here.
On the edge of the building, so that people don't need to wear harnesses, go on the edge of the building, lying on their backs, doing the job on a 12-story building. So this robot has arms, so it is able to stand behind the edge guard and do those jobs.
I imagine that was probably a pretty labor-intensive but really annoying job for a human to do at some point.
Yes, not only annoying, the challenge was humans were not precise the way humans did, like taking a measuring tape across a 2,000-foot floor, and now your 16th inch are getting added up. So it is more about precise, and they would do the job and the thing wouldn't work. They will have to take all the things out, reinstall it again, and that was millions in rework. So not only is it annoying and frustrating, it's also very susceptible to errors.
So what other roles are the robots serving these days?
Yeah, so we have been deploying robots for drilling as well. So they go and there are multiple drills that need to be done on a site. They could be like 100,000 drilling holes that need to be done. So drilling is another application. Now we are moving towards painting for shipbuilding as well. So where there is like large cargo ships, hulls of ships, and that entire surface needs to be painted. So that is also a very labor intensive and very precise thing, because the coating thicknesses and all need to be very precise for ships.
It's also, I imagine, toxic for a human.
Very toxic. These are like flammable paints. So not only are they toxic, like humans should not be in vicinity of those paints, but currently they take ladders and they spray with sprayers in hands, and then they keep moving ladder because the paints are flammable, so the machines are not allowed. So we have to make special machines that can operate in these environments.
So how long has your company been around?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. So this tech obviously has been using things like machine learning, telemetry, all of those tools for years and years and years. Year and a half ago, things like Claude Code start coming out, the new LLMs.
Yeah.
Have those tools impacted or accelerated any of your work?
Yes, I think like over the last 6, 7 months, I personally have been using those a lot. And then over the last 3, 4 months now, we have made an organization-wide push to use those. They have really changed the way we have been doing the work. Now the field engineers, which were just talking to engineers, hey, how do I solve this issue? They change a parameter, they can just do it on their own by running Claude Code. Or like if a salesperson needs to present to the client something, they will make entire websites instead of slide deck with calculators and stuff. So all of those don't require developers anymore. So where things where developers, UI, UX people were needed a lot, those things are getting more and more done than usually.
But that's still very much front end. What about on, I mean, you're talking like the firmware, things that are hardware specific.
Yeah.
Is it impacting that world?
Yeah, so this is that on the non-tech people using the tech, that has definitely increased. And on the tech side now, the iteration loop that the developer is using, like on the developer on the back end who is working on ROS nodes or who is creating the motion planning algorithms or the perception algorithms, those are also leveraging Claude. And the iteration cycle, which was supposed to be 3, 4 months, has shrunk down to 2, 3 weeks. And now it's a matter of how well they use this tool. Because Claude at the end, as I say, is basically you have the power of 1,000 coders. How do you use those coders is up to you.
Anything that can be automated, anything that you can toss a robot in to replace, I imagine people are thinking about ways of doing that. What do you see as, in construction, like what are other areas that you're trying to get into?
Yes, I think like that is something of a big debate in robotics. It's not a question of like foundation models and world models are coming in the robotic space as well, where people are like, take a world model, take a dexterous arm from China, and now you have, you can do anything and solve any problem. But the problem becomes much more bigger than this. So you have to get the hardware running at very high reliability. You need to get edge cases done. Your camera cannot catch dust, otherwise the perception lags. So those are a long chain of problems that come up. When the thing starts working perfectly in lab, that is when the journey of robotics starts. And that is where operators who have had experience are coming in and saying like, this problem is not so simplistic in nature that you take a foundation model, dexterous hardware, and then boom, you have a solution.
So basically, once you've got your idea up and running in
Lab.
the lab, that's when it starts.
That's when it starts.
What is a problem that you personally, you may not have solved it yet, but like this is the area you really want to get these robots involved in? What is the opportunity for you?
Yes, I think like basic premise is that one side of the industry wants to solve for the consumers, like make a robot that folds laundry, that does the dishwashers and stuff. I feel like initially all these people need to come together and solve problems for more hazardous jobs. How do we get workers away from silica, asbestos, flammable paints, from doing jobs that are hazardous in nature that humans should not be doing in first place? And how do we create technology that helps the society as a whole? It does not create a lot of societal value in making robots that fold laundry per se, but that makes for a good VC pitch and that makes for a good demo robot on stage. But if you have a robot painting ships, that is not a good demoable robot on stage. So it does not get as much of a PR to say, or it's harder to sell.
Yeah, if you have a robot down in the mine, it's difficult to showcase that at a demo day.
Demo day, exactly.
What drew you to this industry specifically?
I have always been into automation. How do we make things autonomous? Prior to this, I was working at a agtech startup where we were making robots that would harvest berries. So helping pickers pick berries, creating tools for them. So scaled that company, had 150 robots deployed across Europe and California, and then these were picking berries, and a lot of food was getting wasted. It has fully grown, but somebody did not pick it. So tons and tons of food was getting wasted. So that was the problem challenging that I had solved before. This is another opportunity that I saw, like, why not we work for the heavy industries where it's so laborious. So I'm very attuned to the manufacturing side of things. So I have seen these struggles of people doing heavy work, which I would not want to do. So I was like, why not make tools for other people as well?
Do you think the future is humanoid robots or everything but humanoid robots?
I think the question is that the physical embodiment is what we are saying, the form factor depends on the task that is being solved. And I think that is how we should take it. Like these set of tasks should be done by this physical embodiment, and these set of tasks should be done by these physical embodiment. I don't think there is a universal embodiment.
Yeah, just because humans are shaped one way doesn't mean robots need to be shaped in that
I
one
think
way.
like if we have the power, why do we need to get limited by 6 feet of height? Why cannot be 10 feet and work and drilling holes up ahead?
I mean, I've always wanted to be 6 feet in height, but I've never quite made it. But that's a whole different issue. If a robot could solve that for me, possibly with boots,
Yeah.
I don't know. What is moving your industry forward the fastest right now?
I think there is an entire foundation layer is stronger than ever right now. So on the hardware side, robotics is becoming closer to more Lego-like, where you can buy batteries, you can buy robotic arms, you can buy compute systems, you can buy GPUs and plug them all together to solve a problem. So foundation layer is strong, which gives us a leg up in like making our problem solve easier to solve by solving it on the application layer.
How many of those products can you actually buy in the United States versus just going to China? Like, how many of those do you have to order from Southeast Asia or China?
I mean, on the hardware side, they have a very, very strong pull. And to be honest, it's not a cost game, it's a quality game, honestly. So it's not a factor of cost. Like we have had experience, like even at 4x cost, we were not able to get similar quality or similar lead time. So I think on the hardware side, they have been building these things since 2010. So like cameras, lidars are already they are manufacturing in tens of thousands. Americans are coming up with like 1,000 right now. So they have a maturity and ways to go before they can get to that level
We're
of.
way behind. Well, and they used it to do their construction boom in China specifically, I imagine. Like a construction, like do you travel to China? Do you see construction projects there? I imagine are very different than the construction projects here.
Yeah, I mean, all projects are different. They are super fast in the way they do things and they deal with things. Bureaucracy is far lesser internally within companies, and then dealing with vendors in China does go more faster and swifter.
But what about the actual construction projects? Like if you're on a building site in
Yeah.
China, that building is thrown up faster, I imagine, than it's done
Yeah,
in the
that's
US.
a combination of like they have prefab structures that are put it up to create construction, and then robotics, construction robotics is used in phases doing layout marking and some other tasks, but not as extensively. They are using more prefab structure to get things up.
So that then goes to why build in the States as opposed to building in China right now?
Yeah, it all comes down to the application layer. The problems and the way the development happens here is very different. So you have to solve for your own customer. If I went about and re-architected the construction paradigm and which the way construction should happen and I will make a robot for that, then I will get killed and there will be no adoption. So we have to understand how things are getting done, how the operations are done right now, and embed the robot in there and then guide that towards a more sustainable building
Oh, that's
solution.
interesting. China was more of a greenfield situation. We're a brownfield in the
Exactly.
States, and that's actually the legacy thing that's holding us back.
Yeah.
And there is no solution for that. Like the solution for that is just
Yeah, you cannot start from a clean slate.
America is the land of tech debt,
Yeah.
is what you're saying in the construction industry.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
And it becomes a very circular loop. Construction folks who we are selling to have been burnt with robotics in the past. So we started a trust deficit in that area, and the robot needs to work at a very high reliability from day one. And now, but we need some understanding that there will be a development process through this. So it becomes a very circular loop.
So how big is your software development team?
Software development team would be like 4 to 6 people.
That's so 4 to 6 people. Like, and for the kind of robots, for the stuff that you're pushing out there, that's what you need at this stage.
I think like initially we were planning to double the team, but the way that Claude has come up, now we want to run the teams a lot more leaner, and it's easier for us to erase our tech debt, refactor the code. So a lot of grunt work that the software folks were doing is now removed, and now we can just think about the architectures we want to do, the features we want to build, the reliability we want to build, rather than, oh, this thing is not compiling because of a version mismatch. Those grunt work things can be offloaded a lot more easily.
If you had unlimited budget
Yeah.
to basically hire people, what would you be hiring for right now, if anything?
Yes, I think like in robotics, iteration loops are very long. So I need somebody who is not a good solver of problem, but who is a good sight of what the problems would be in the future and solves for it today. And somebody who has seen the journey and been like, oh, these are the bottlenecks that we are going to come to it. So we'll just address this today so that we don't run into these bottlenecks tomorrow. So people who have been in the industry for like 7-8 years, have deployed 100 robots, are a step ahead of us. People with those expertise come us and tell, oh, I have seen these bunch of errors. We will not do these errors, because it's not possible for org to make the errors on their own.
Well, that's so only deep expertise. How do you deal then with the only way you get deep expertise is either you spend a lot of money to hire for it or you train it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are concerned about like, is there room for junior people right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very topic of conversation right now. Is it becomes very difficult for the junior folks who enter the market right now. There is a huge chasm between like junior engineer and like SD2, SD3, and this all the stuff in the middle is getting solved with AI right now. So these folks need to enter the companies as interns, and they need to level up to SD2 level in their graduation.
I mean, you can say that, but shouldn't you actually be taking these software engineers and throwing them on construction sites and making them work as an electrician for, make them apprentice there?
I mean, it's the cost structure that makes it exorbitantly like now you bake that cost into the operational cost of the robot, and now your unit economics does not work. So you can do it for some folks, and now you have to amortize it across multiple units to develop the training team. So it becomes it's the challenge is growing and growing in that regard. Like, I would be keen to hear how do we solve this problem from you as well.
That's a hard one
Yeah.
because the kids got to do something.
Yeah.
We're all getting older. That's,
Yeah, and there needs to be some pathway for them to get into the workforce, right?
get into the workforce, but also there needs to be a pathway for new ideas. That's the downside of experience. That yes, there are plenty of people who have experience that can also think outside of the box and non-linearly, but often you need outside perspectives in order to understand where things are moving, especially when things are moving as quickly as they are right now.
Right.
Fear. Silicon Valley doesn't have time for fear or anxiety because your head's down and you're working. But the rest of the country is a little bit freaked out right now. More about AI, more about data centers. I would say the robots aren't freaking people out quite yet because they haven't quite seen them in that environment. Are you what is your anxiety like? Like, are you more hopeful? Are you a little anxious about where things are going? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think like robotics still has a long way to go before it becomes widespread. There is still, if you see the industries, there are only two industries in which robotics has penetrated. One is warehousing, the other is manufacturing. If you see as verticals, you don't see hundreds of robots deployed by anybody. And even these billion-dollar companies have like 50, 60 deployments, which is very meager. So I think like there is a long time before robotics evolves. And secondly, I don't think robotics as a human labor replacement. I think these are tools that help a human do their job more efficiently, more accurately. Like, it's easier for a construction operator to hire a junior engineer who operates a robot behind the tablet than for him to get a junior engineer who goes and does the layout marking on the edge himself.
Well, it's also, I mean, you're not mad at forklifts. You're not mad at a backhoe.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like, this robot is just a more advanced version of that, at least at the moment.
Yeah, it's just a smarter machine that does a little bit more than like every action is not manually told, is all it is. And it's a helping tool for people at the end of the day. So we still need the expertise of the people that exist on the field to do the job. And these are the tools that they have. It's just a more fancy tool than hammer.
No, robots are in a better position right now than pure AI, because if pure AI is replacing quote unquote thought,
Yes.
coding, white collar soft skills, that leads to a lot more anger than something that is replacing backbreaking, dangerous labor tasks. Like
Right.
that's the point, ultimately, to replace the hard, grueling, deadly things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, or at least traditionally, what we thought of is like, no, I think, therefore I am. If you take my thinking away from me, like, what do I have left?
Yeah.
If you take, oh, I can't dig a hole for a living anymore, okay,
Yeah.
I can find something else.
I can be behind the robot and the robot digs the hole.
I make sure it digs the right hole.
It digs the right hole. I will do the quality check after it. Great.